If you have $100, you should invest them into these 3 stocks and it will surpass your full-time job. Or at least that's what Corey's saying here in this video. And the title of his video is called $100 in these 3 stocks will surpass your full-time job. We'll see how true that is on today's Lambos or food stamps.
In this video, I'm going to show you 3 stocks that if you invest into could likely and potentially pass your full-time job or income. There's risks with every investment. However, these 3 stocks have shown incredible growth and they've been upgraded by analyst ratings and they've been moving upwards for a very consistent amount of time. I'm going to show you what these 3 stocks are and explain to you guys how this type of investment could change the landscape for you and your financial future. And these are the same strategies we go over in Discord. It's how my students were able to make $50,000, $60,000, over $100,000 on AMD today. You can see the profits right there. I told everybody to buy AMD back in February and March when it was $105 and a lot.
By the way, he totally was saying that when AMD was $105 as it had been crashing down for months. Now, what I've been telling you is wait until that crossover happens when it was around $99. I'm not trying to do a banana measuring contest here, but what I am saying is that as it's crashing down, and I have the receipts, by the way, on YouTube, so I can point to where he was doing that, crashing down. We don't know how far down it's going to go, Corey, right? You were on the bandwagon with all these other fake gurus, and they were saying, oh, you got to buy AMD, you got to buy AMD, you got to buy AMD, as it went from 150, 40, 30, 20, 10, 100, 90, 80, and then into the 70s. And I was the one guy who was saying, why don't we wait until it finds its bottom? The 10 goes over the 20, price goes over the 50, and then it goes up. And then it goes up literally 100% in the span of 5 months on here, which coincides with the buy signal that came through OVTLYR. And then, you know what? It absolutely cranked super high right here. A fantastic move on AMD, which I don't think anybody could have seen coming. But the 10 was over the 20, price was over the 50, right? I'm not going to sell you any sort of snake oil. I'm just going to keep it as real as possible.
A lot of people ridiculed me there saying AMD was a bad investment. I told you AMD was going to run this year. It ran to 170, 180. It had some pullbacks, and now it's well over $200. I even said in my live video back in February that AMD very well could break $200 by the end of the year. There you go. Once again.
And to Corey's point, Corey's a genius. You buy stocks when they're crashing up, right? You buy stocks as they're crashing up, and you know how to do that with the 10 over 20, price over 50. Not as they're crashing down, right? And if you're out there saying, that's what these lines are for right here. If you're out there saying, well, if I dollar cost average on the way down, it'll be so much better. Bro, if you dollar cost average at any one of these points on the way down versus the exact same point on the way up, your average price is the mathematical same. The same average price if you're buying it on the way up versus on the way down. But if you're buying it on the way up, you are to profitability that much faster. That much faster. You don't have to wait from December until June. You don't have to wait 7 months to get back to break even. You could be at break even and better just that fast.
I was right. And it's because of how I analyze the market, my dark pool data, and the fact.
Oh my gosh. Let's get on with this.
Filling its multi-year agreement with.
All right, Serve Robotics, SERV. Now let's see if this is one of the stocks we cover. So we cover 2,600 stocks in OVTLYR, and we're adding 6,000 more stocks here in the next 2 weeks. We're doing a server upgrade at the moment, and it's slowing us down a little bit. We had planned to have it done by the end of this week, but the server upgrade was needed. In fact, I don't know if I think I typed in serve instead of, it is serve. I got distracted with serve. Maybe this is SERV. This may not be one of the 2,600 we cover. No, it's not. And that's fine. No big deal. But it probably, most likely, will be in the 6,000 that we add here in a few weeks. So the reason that it's not covered is this stock is an IPO in April of 2024. We need at least 5 years of data. The more data, the more better. And so we're looking at this right now. Looking at Serve, objectively speaking, what industry is this in? Probably the industrials, if this is a robotic stock. So let's go to XLI. XLI is the ETF for industrials. And if we're looking at this right here, we can see that it had a lot of overhead resistance for a long time. Tell me order blocks don't work, right? From May until September, it was struggling to push through this area of $12 or so. Pushed through a little bit, came back down, pushing up again, and and we'll see if it has enough buyers to overwhelm this selling area right here. And you do have a bullish trend. I'll give you that. I will give you that. Now, the XLI. Oh, this is great. This is great. What we see here is the XLI having bullish breadth, meaning more buy signals than sell signals. And if you'll notice right here, the green and the red actually shows more uptrends, less downtrends. So breadth is on fire right here. The industrial sector, assuming that's in the industrial sector, is getting stronger as well on the fear and greed. So fear and greed's growing. Now, individually speaking, I can't tell you if serve is getting higher or if it would have a buy signal right here. But this one is not so bad. Not so bad at all. Let's see if there's some news going on with this. 1000th third generation robot. The CFO sells shares to cover tax obligations. Serve Robotics director sold shares as well. It looks like a lot of selling, insider selling. But let's let Corey tell us why, if we put, $100 into one of these three stocks, it's going to be worth your full-time job. Employers hate this one trick.
With partners like Uber Eats. Furthermore, strategic acquisitions such as that of Voices for ultra-low latency teleoperation technology and Veyu Robotics for AI foundation model based autonomy underscore a continuous investment in their core technology. While the company is still in early high growth phase categorized by negative EBITDA and net losses, this rapid success expansion and technological enhancement are crucial.
This is a press release. There is no analysis with this. This is a press release distributed by the company. We're going to fast forward through this.
Shares over time. Me personally, I like to buy 100 shares at a time. So if you're buying 100 shares per month, had you been doing that for the past 6 months, you'd have 600 shares. And if we look back here, all the way back to February, which if we're going to go back 6 months, we're going to want to go to like March or April. Let's just do this right quick here. So you figure the stock price would have been 840. Then you would have had 12. So 8, 12, 10. So that would be about $11, 10.50 average. And then down here, another $9. You'd have like a pretty close to a $10 average. And then now October. So you would have very close to like a $11 average, 10.50 average right now. And you'd have 600 shares. So you'd have $3,000 in profits over the last couple of months. This is just a very rough sketch to show you what I'm talking about, that if you're buying consistently. So let's just show you the actual math on this. You buy at 8.50, you buy at 9.50, you buy at 11, you buy again at 10, and then you buy at 14. So you have 6 times, okay? Actually 5 times. So this is 5 times right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times you bought, and one other time you bought at $12. Okay, divide this by 6. An average.
It would definitely help if this calculator was not covered up by his video.
Cost 1083 minus 15 as of right now. We're pretty close to it. Actually, it spiked up much higher recently. It was earlier today. It was up 1527. So we'll say 15 is $4.
That's interesting, and I don't know why he would do this. And I'm not trying to be critical or anything, but he's talking about buying once a month. Yet he's looking at hourly charts. What? Which time frame are we trading on here? Why are we looking at a stock on an hourly chart if we're going to buy it once a month? Anyway, I'm ready to move on past this one. Let's go to the next one here. What is this next stock that you put $100 into and it'll be worth more than $54,000 a year for sure? No doubt, hands down, it must of course do this.
But I did tell you to buy it most recently when it was under $5 and just a little over $5, and now it's over $8, which means you're saying this for a very long
time. All right. NVTS. Let's see if we cover NVTS. NVTS. Okay, so oh man, another one we don't cover? No, sure don't. That's all right. No stress. NVTS. So give me your perspective on Serve, the one that we just finished a moment ago. Was that a Lambo or was that a food stamp to you? So moving on to NVTS, right? We're looking at IPO'd in February 2021. So we don't quite have, what is this little thing? Hold on. What is that? This is the very beginning. Okay, that's funny. I've never seen that before. We don't have enough data on NVTS to generate sell signals or buy signals on this one either. But let's take a look, right? So a penny stock, a glorious, amazing penny stock that I would stay as far away from as humanly possible, was getting more and more and more cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. right? In fact, look at this, right? There's a reason. Hang on. Hang on. I was about to say, this looks like the market cycle right here. In fact, yeah, let's talk about what the market cycle is real quick, right? So the market cycle, let me go to that slide, is real. So is Warren Buffett's quote. That definitely happened. That quote right there, 100% happened. And so does the market cycle, where your stage one is the consolidation phase. Stage two is the big, beautiful move up that everybody wants to get, right? Everybody wants to feel like a genius in a bull market, and that is stage two. Stage three is this topping pattern right here, and that's where your moving averages are crossing over. Stage four is the decline, right? That's what that is right here. Now, some people look at this and they'd say that's a head and shoulders. By all means, if that's how you want to trade with patterns, go for it. But you can see right here, right? Ignore the order blocks. Ignore the order blocks. You can see the 10 being over the 20, price over the 50 from $4 up until $6. So that's a 50-ish% move. Again, 10 over 20, price over 50 from around $6 up to $9. Another 30% move. Completely sidestep that from 650 up to $7. So another 12% move or so. And then you get to sidestep this huge down move, right? And then again, it looks like I had some sort of catalyst right here, and I don't know what it is. I don't really care what it was. And a big move up right here, and another bullish trend starting over again, another starting right here. Now, my concern with this is it's a penny stock, right? So people treat penny stocks like gambling, and I don't want you to be a gambler. I want you to be a fund manager. I want you to treat your account as if you are a professional, not a gambler. Okay. But you do have a lot of overhead resistance right here. And tell me order blocks don't work. When the very first time it came into this area, built in March 2022, the very first time in July to August of 2023, it got absolutely monkey hammered. And then it's coming back up into this area today. We'll see if it pushes through. It's got earnings in the next couple of weeks, so be aware of that. The hidden cost of playing the stock market slot machine. Well, that certainly sounds like gambling to me. Yeah, I would stay. I would stay away from this stock, especially if people are already considering this the slot machine of investing. The last thing I want you to do is gamble, right? We want to make educated bets in the market. And let's fast forward to his potential third stock here. Where is it at? Here we go. This is weird. Honestly, I don't understand why he's putting out why he's showing these press releases, because this comes from the company, right? Do you really think that an objective investor is going to write is positioned for exceptionally fast data-driven growth, transform into a specialized AI factory infrastructure provider, a critical bottleneck in the global AI revolution? No, the company's writing this. Anyways, let's go to APLD. Let's go to APLD. See if we cover that. All right. So would you say NVTS is Lambos or food stamps? I'm staying far away from it. But David says food stamps and Corey says Lambos. Honestly, Ian says he's getting paid by these companies. That is a possibility. That is actually legitimately, honestly, very truly a possibility. Companies do that. They will reach out to finfluencers and they'll say, hey, will you promote our stock? Why do you think they do that? In the chat, go ahead and tell me. Why do you think that they do that? They promote these stocks because they need the exit liquidity. They need the exit liquidity. Oh, Mike, that's very kind of you. I try to run with integrity. They need the exit liquidity to pump it up. A pump and dump kind of situation. There is some legal gray room there. There is some legal gray room. I can't tell you exactly what it is. I'm not a lawyer. I do know a securities lawyer though. He's one of my friends. His name is also Chris. And he could tell you more about it. He actually has a YouTube channel. I can't remember what it's called right now, but yeah, he could tell you all about the legality of that. But it is real. It is a real thing. It is a real thing. Shane, he said he fell for Corey's program. The dude is a scam artist. He puts on a bunch of stocks to buy. When one goes up, he thinks he's the smartest guy on the planet. Doesn't sound like he treats his portfolio like a fund manager, right? As a fund manager, which I encourage all of you to go onto your LinkedIn bio right now. Whatever you're doing, let's say you're a plumber. Let's say you are a teacher. Let's say that you are a real estate advisor like Matt Barnes in Houston. Just in front of that, put fund manager first. Fund manager first. Somewhat like this. Somewhat like this. Christopher Ewell, fund manager. That's right. And the reason that you want to do this is you want to treat your account as if you are managing a fund. Now, a fund manager knows exactly where he's going to get in, and he knows, or she knows exactly where he or she is going to get out because they have a plan, they have a process. They aren't gambling with the market. They know specifically exactly what will fit and what will not fit within their researched plans. So let's go to APLD. Now, I know this is one we cover for sure. Now, let's take a look at APLD. This is in the tech sector. Tech sector still isn't cooperating with the market just yet. We aren't seeing more uptrends and less downtrends. We're not seeing bullish crossover here on the breadth. And we're certainly not seeing more greed coming into the sector just yet. So that whole sector's off the charts for me. I'm not even interested in that sector. Kenneth, you know what, dude? I'll definitely take a look at SoFi next. Don't let me forget though, Kenneth. Okay, I got you. I do need to add professional YouTuber to my channel. Thank you, Bobby. And as we can see right here, that tech sector is not going to help you, but the market trend, signal, and breadth is there. So let's talk about what this means. 40% of a stock's move is due to the market. 30% of a stock's move is due to the sector. So looking at this right here, you've got the 40% for the market, but the sector is not there. The sector is not there. But the stock itself, in a bullish trend with a buy signal, fear and greed is rising, so getting more greedy, and it doesn't show any overhead outlier blocks. And why wouldn't we have any outlier blocks on APLD? Anybody want to guess why we would not have any outlier blocks on APLD? Oh, wait a minute. I spoke too soon. The data needs to be updated. I was going to say because this was hitting new all-time highs, but it actually, so that data is a day old. It actually, because it's moved so fast right up into this area right here, this is a big red warning sign for me. All-time high. I thought it was all-time highs too, but it's not. It's not. There actually were higher highs back in October of 2021. Now, these investors got bamboozled. They got suckered by other random guys on the internet saying you got to buy APLD. Now, the funny part about this, right, is it was a good gravy. This must have reverse split or something. This was a, oh my gosh, a 8-cent stock at one point. It ripped, roared, ran, exploded higher. 10 over 20 price over 50. Tell me that doesn't work. All the way to $34. That is a tremendous move from January to October of 2021. A huge move. Some clearly big catalyst came through here. Now, these people were fighting. They were fighting over each other, saying, I have to buy this stock at this price. Don't even think about getting in my way because I will buy this price, whatever it costs. The greed was overwhelming here. And now, those same people are the ones who are on the opposite side over here. And what do you think that they're going to do, right? Even though it's got a big, beautiful uptrend, even though it has an outlier buy signal, those same buyers right here are going to be the same sellers right here. As soon as they can finally get back to break even, it's only taken them 4 years. Their kid Joe entered high school in October of 2021, and their kid Joe is now a senior, going to the homecoming dance, and it's October of 2025, and they're like, oh, finally I can get out of the money, and I don't have to tell Joe, my high school senior, that I blew his college fund, and it went basically down by how much? How much did it go down? I would bet it goes down between 50 and 80%. What do you think? No, it went down 97%. In fact, that's funny. It went down 97% and then finally has caught a move back up. I'm telling you, there are people who will be screaming sell once it gets up here. Screaming sell. Joe's 35 and married at this point. Another market cycle demonstration. Yeah, that's the market cycle. That is this, right? You go to the optometrist and you say, it's a better 1 or 2. And you're like, well, they're the same. 1 or 2. They're the same, right? This is an area that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole. And of course, the outlier block is a day out of date because it's moved so fast. It's moved so fast up through here. So looking at this APLD, I wouldn't be buying it right here. But let's see why Corey would buy it right here, right? No judgment. Let's just see why Corey would buy it. Don't forget the title of his video, $100 in these stocks will turn you into or it will surpass your full-time job. So he's saying it could double or triple or more by then. And you know what? It very well may, but it will not do that. And you know what? I don't care. Make your long-term calls. I don't care. I don't play that game. I play the game of I follow my plan to a T, And I'm not going to meme stock rush into anything. And I don't want you to do the same either. Remember, we want to treat our portfolios as if we are fund managers. So if you're willing to take that risk, see the difference here? If you're willing to take that risk, just know where you're going to get out. Okay. Just know where you're going to get out. All right. So listen, let's shift gears a little bit and let's look at some new stocks that could be coming through. I ran our screener just a few minutes ago, and one of the bookmarklets from VacLav, one of our incredible outliers. One thing to keep in mind right now is I'm not trading anything new other than Plan ETF, and Plan ETF is rocket shipping and making life so easy, and we don't have to stress and we don't have to come up with these clickbait titles of $100 in these 3 stocks will get you whatever, right? You can get access to the full outlier dashboard for just 82 cents a day when you get the annual pass. And looking at this right here, one thing to keep in mind is what's called the relative greed. So let's talk about what relative greed means. So wait for the slides to load. I need to find which slide that's on. I think it's this one here. Relative greed. Okay, so relative greed, I don't know if I have a slide specifically talking about it, but what I'm going to do right now is talk about it. So for Plan M, one of our most profitable plans, remember, we are fund managers here. We are also professional YouTubers, but fund managers first, YouTubers second. Sector relative greed being greater than 1. So this means the sector's greed score being greater than the market greed. Now, in the chat, why would you want to see the relative greed of a sector being higher than the relative greed of the market? In the chat, go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and tell me. And we'll look at the financials because of Kenneth. He says, Chris made me sell myself. I didn't make you do a damn thing, my friend. You did it yourself. Don't tell me I did anything to you. You are a big boy. You get to decide what you want to do. So looking at this, in fact, let's take a moment to talk about that, right? Everyone has control of their trades in the market. I didn't make you do a single thing, right? I may have told you exactly what we saw in here was that SoFi was trending down. And in fact, SoFi looks like it might be reversing that trend right here. The 10/20 price over 50 may have happened right here, right? But you need to follow your own plan. And if you decide that it's Chris's fault, I got news for you. There are great channels just like Corey, that you could go watch. And you should just invest in whatever Corey says and don't even think about watching a channel like this where professional fund managers actually talk about following professional fund manager plans that are developed by quants and have a full staff of people with the only objective is being as profitable as possible. So back to this sector relative greed. Sector greed being greater than market greed. So if we look over here at the sector for the financials, we can see the sector heat map. So the fear and greed heat map on the financials is actually going down, right? It's moving down. So even in that sector, it's losing steam. It's at 51.43 and moving down, meaning the sector, remember, that's 30% of the move is not helping you out. Okay. Now, relative greed, the SPY, the fear and greed score on the SPY is 69.83. However, nothing comes close. There are no sectors that come anywhere close to having a higher greed score than the SPY. So what does that mean? That means there are no standout sectors. Now, are there standout stocks? Yeah, that absolutely does happen. But I'm concerned about the market right now, and which is why we have Plan ETF, right? Which is it's a defensive plan. And the concentration that we're seeing right now is it is not a broad-based rally, right? There are no sectors that are outperforming the market, but the market is rocketing higher because of the concentration of Mag 7. All right. So what I want you to do is make sure that you come up with a plan like Joshua did. He picked up PayPal on his own outlier rules and he's up 50% today. And you don't have to hold the stock as it's going down. And I certainly am not going to make you do anything. You're a big boy. You're a big girl. You get to make those buy and sell decisions. And professional fund managers, like what we talk to here on Outlier, they understand the personal agency that you need to have to be a successful trader, right? So if you're ready to save time, make money, and start winning with less risk, click one of these 2 videos. Or don't. Go watch a stupid channel like Corey's where they'll say $100 in these 3 stocks will make you a millionaire by the end of the year. I don't care what you do, but I do want you to have a fantastic day. We'll talk soon.